All right, so this is a demo video for people that are coming to the ABEATS conference for speakers. So speakers are people that are going to be doing the panel sessions or giving a presentation. So this is what the main event is going to look like. When you first enter the Remo event, you'll come to the Butte Hall, the virtual Butte Hall, as it were. When you join, you'll join a virtual table. So the way that Remo works is that you are sitting around tables of a maximum of 8 people. So it's a little bit different to Zoom. So when you join a table, you'll only be able to speak with video to the people that are sitting at your virtual table. It's really easy to move around between different tables. You can just hop around between, if you just double click, you can join a new table. Carlos is following me. So when you join, you'll be able to see down the bottom that you've got your button for your camera and your mic. When you turn these on, this is how you'll be able to communicate with the people at your table. There's also a button here for chat. So you can see that there's a public chat, which a general chat will talk to everybody in the whole event, but a table chat will talk to only the people at your table if for whatever reason you don't want to turn on your camera or your mic. So as you can see, Carlos has demonstrated here. You can also choose to direct message someone if you really want to. So if you want to have a conversation with only one person, then you can also choose to do that. Each table comes with a whiteboard. So if you're having a discussion with everybody in your event, in your table, then you're able to load the whiteboard and have a discussion using that. It's a software called Miro. So if you've used Miro before, then you'll be really familiar with it. What other things to know? On the left-hand side, you'll see that there's a floor button. So the floor plan, as you can see, will only sit a maximum of about 135 people at any one time. So if you know that your friend is here, but you can't see them on the floor plan, it's possible that they're on floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, or floor 4. If you've joined the event and you've walked away, but then you've forgotten where you are, there's a button over here at the left that says, "Where am I?" When you click it, it zooms right in and it shows you where you are so that you know where you are if you need to move around. The agenda button is up the top here. So you'll be able to see that Ramona's already pre-populated the agenda for you. So you'll be able to see exactly what's happening at any one time. When we go down here, you'll see that there are parallel sessions that are running. So when you click see more, there's a little bit of extra text. On the day, in order to move between different events, you can click this button here and the events will be loaded. At the moment, they're not live, so we can't see them at this point in time. When we go into presentation mode for speakers, what will happen is it will turn into something like a Zoom webinar. So if you want to hit presentation mode just now, Carlos, perfect.
This is to show the timer.
We'll start with a 30-second countdown because it gives everybody a warning, which is really useful because it allows you to wrap up any conversations you're having before the presentation itself starts. Don't worry though, as a speaker, you don't need to be anywhere specific to be able to come onto stage when presentation mode starts. So don't worry about that. What happens when presentation mode starts is it starts for the entire building. So if you think of the mode that we were in before as being something like a cabaret style, this is more like when the show starts, everybody's attention is focused on this, and this is the only thing that you can see. So when we're in presentation mode, you'll be able to see that I can turn my camera and mic on here. So this is how you will pop up onto the virtual stage, as it were. You can also access the chat here. And if you click this left button, you'll be able to also access the table chat from where you were sitting and any direct messages that you were having. In the presentation mode, for people asking questions, it's likely that they'll predominantly be using the Q&A function. So if you're having an interactive discussion, we'll maybe have someone read out the questions for you and you can answer them more than having someone come up onto stage, but that's a discussion that you can have with your chair prior to the event. So if you are, for example, asking a question, you can type it in here. You can choose whether to ask it anonymously. And one of the best things about it is, compared to Zoom, is that when you ask a question, you can upvote other people's questions so that the most popular questions go to the top rather than having to search around to see whether anyone else has asked it. So that's really useful. The other thing is when you share your screen, it's really simple. There's just a button here for share. If you are a Windows user, it should work completely fine, no problems at all. If you are a Mac user, we'll send you out some information in advance because you'll probably have to turn on screen recording privileges for Chrome. We would recommend that you use Chrome as your main browser if you're able to. However, Microsoft Edge and Firefox are also supported. If you are like me and like to be alternative and use something like Opera, it's not supported. So it will come up with a big bar, a big red bar at the top of your screen saying this browser is not supported. So it'll be very obvious when you come in. I think that is everything that's useful. One other thing, just before we finish, when you are listening to someone else's presentation, you can choose to have emojis, so it will show up here for you in your reactions, just like you would do on Zoom. When presentation mode finishes, if you could hit that button, Carlos, it will just pop us back into floor mode or conversation mode. Just like that. And that's us back. And this is what we will be using for networking and any other chatter that will be happening. I think that's everything. Have I missed anything, Carlos?
If they find out that they don't have the camera or the microphone option, there will be a table called tech support. Just let them know that you don't have the privilege. So when you start the presentation mode, they can manually give you the privilege to start presenting. Yeah. If you register an account that is not the one that the email was originally sent.
You'll receive an email in advance. So as soon as you receive the email from Remo, probably around the same time that this video will be sent to you, you'll be able to come onto the platform and have a play around to double check that everything works for you. One thing I would say is Remo works best on a laptop, but it also does function on a phone if for whatever reason you're going to struggle accessing it. It does not function very well on tablets. So because the operating system is different on tablets than on phones, for whatever reason, they've not optimized it for tablets yet, but it is optimized for phones.